Okay, welcome. I'd like to call this June 11th, 2018 council meeting to order. If you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, sir.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Coin.
Here.
Lamb.
Here.
Parnell Kaby.
Here.
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Reading of the minutes,
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I move that the minutes from the regular meeting of May 29, 2018, as prepared and submitted by the clerk, be approved.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? Will the clerk please call the roll on the approval of the minutes?
Coin.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Parnell Kaby.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to council and will again meet prior to council at 2 weeks from now at the next council meeting. House Public Properties Committee, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, no report this evening.
Thank you. Special Legislation Committee, Mr. Lamb.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing to report and no meeting scheduled.
Thank you. Streets and Sidewalks Committee, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had to reschedule our Streets and Sidewalk meeting from June 19th. It's now going to be on July 2nd at 5 p.m. here at City Hall. Thank you.
Thank you. Water and Utilities Committee, Mrs. Parnell Cavey.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have no meetings scheduled, nothing to report.
Thank you. And Emerging Technologies Committee, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing to report, but I'm working to get a meeting scheduled sometime after we return from summer break.
Thank you. Request for council action. We have a few for the Finance Committee. We have 18-117 budget amendments, 18-118 Lafayette Police Contract, and 18-119 repair of City Medina Railroad track. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hamwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a number of community events coming up here the rest of this month and early July before we meet again. Well, that's not true. We're going to meet on the 25th. So on Saturday, June 16th from 10 to 2 during the Pizza Palooza, the Medina Town Hall and Engine House Museum will feature a new display of photos, artifacts, and clippings from Medina's sesquicentennial in 1968. The community band concerts on Public Square will continue each Friday evening in June and July starting at 8:30 and also 8:30 p.m. and also on July 4th at the same time. This Saturday, June 16th at noon, there will be a celebration of the Army, their 243rd birthday, as well as an oath of office. They've asked me to perform for some of the local recruits entering the Army service, and that's Saturday, June 16th. The Pizza Palooza is Saturday, June 16th at 1 p.m. There will be pizza judging as well as the community having the opportunity to vote for the People's Choice. And you buy so many tickets and then you can vote for the best pizza. Then on Sunday, June 17th, there will be free yoga classes by Half Moon Yoga on Public Square. And they're going to have 3 separate classes, one at 10, one at 11:30, 10 a.m., 11:30 a.m., and 3 p.m. But you have to bring your own yoga mat. Additional upcoming bicentennial events are available on their website, www.medina200.com. The July 3rd fireworks will be set off at Medina High School at dusk on July 3rd, and if we need a rain date, that's already been established as July 7th, which is Saturday. The July 4th parade lines up on July 4th at Medina High School and then marches to the square. We expect it to be larger this year because of the bicentennial celebration, and we've moved the start of the parade up to 4 p.m. and instead of the later start so that the children aren't out so late and get to the picnics a little bit earlier. And then the Friends of Medina Memorial Park and Pool on July 5th from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. are having a celebrity pro disc golf tournament and a vintage car show over in the parking lot of Medina Memorial Park. And then on Friday, July 6th, from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., It's an all-day family fun at the pool. And pool admission will be free and all family activities free for those attending that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Durham, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's one thing that came from Finance Department. I'll comment on it when we get there.
Thank you. Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Chief Kinney, please, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have one item. Last Friday, June 8th, Sergeant Brett McNabb graduated from the FBI National Academy in Quantico, Virginia. The National Academy is a professional course of study for U.S. and international law enforcement managers nominated by their agency heads because of demonstrated leadership qualities. The 10-week program, which provides coursework in intelligence theory, terrorism, terrorist mindset, management science, law, behavioral science, law enforcement communications, and forensic science, serves to improve the administration of justice in police departments and agencies at home and abroad, and to raise awareness in law enforcement standards, knowledge, and cooperation worldwide. I just wanted to publicly acknowledge and congratulate Sergeant McNabb for that accomplishment. It's tough. It's a tough school to get into. Again, it's 10 weeks. It's quite a commitment. Most officers have to sit on a waiting list for several years before they're accepted. So we're very fortunate that he was accepted and was able to complete that training. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Marshall, Economic Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Friday, June 8th, I attended the Medina Area Chamber of Commerce Hall of Fame recognition and induction dinner, and I would like to publicly congratulate our very own Ms. Barbara Deserve for being inducted into the Medina Area Chamber of Commerce Hall of Fame. Barb, if you listen to what all they had to say about her, but she has a lifetime of achievement that crosses education, workforce development, economic development, and community services, and has been a true leader to mentor and support other women along the way. This award was not only well-deserved, but also very long overdue, so we like to congratulate her. Also, with all of the growth in the industrial and service sector of the city, we have reached out to and are now partnering with the Ohio Means Jobs Medina County office, United Way Employing Medina County, and the Medina County District Library to host a job fair on Thursday, June 28th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We have approximately 30 businesses and companies registered to participate, and this job fair is at no cost to the employer and no cost to the job seeker. So hopefully we get a good turnout and get these companies and businesses some new employees. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mendel, Planning and Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Thank you, Chief Painter, Fire Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you, Mr. Wright, Recreation Center Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a couple updates from the Medina Rec. The Memorial Outdoor Pool is now open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day of the week. Just a reminder for anyone who qualifies for the school lunch program, your membership at the outdoor pool is 50% off. So membership for a family of 5 would only be $100 for the summer, and day passes would only be $4 for those eligible. A note to our senior Silver Sneakers, Optum, and Prime members, your rec membership ID cards can now also be scanned at the outdoor pool, so feel free to use that too on that membership. And lastly, our next Rec Advisory Board meeting will be Thursday, June 21st at 7:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Worley, Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just one reminder for the public. Our splash pads at Fred Greenwood, or our splash pad at Fred Greenwood Park is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And at Ray Mellert Park, it's open from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. And occasionally there are maintenance shutdowns and failures with the operation of the equipment over there. I just wanted to remind the public that if that does happen or the features aren't operating as they should, to call the police department non-emergency number at 330-725-7777, and we'll get a technician out there to repair it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gladys, Building Official.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you, Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you. Just update on a couple of our road improvement projects. As most people know, Guilford Boulevard, south of East Smith Road, was closed last week so we can replace the bridge out there. That closure will be in effect until early to mid-August. There are detours in place. I just want to assure the public that we have been and will continue to monitor traffic and make any modifications or adjustments as necessary when we feel we can improve it. Also, Forest Meadows, which has been closed for reconstruction, is expected to open by the end of this week. It's the good news. The bad news is at the same time that it opens, Northland Drive will be closed for 30 days so it can be replaced. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Picoli, Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Service Department personnel have been responding to flood calls from residents, specifically in the Forest Meadows area. So we received, I believe, 2.3 inches of rain in a short period of time. So we're working with property owners, trying to figure out if there's something we could do to correct, what the issue is, maybe on their property or with our storm sewer specifically to their area. So thank you.
Thank you. Notices, communications, petitions, there are none. Confirmation of council committee appointments. With the exodus of Mr. Colzar, Mr. Simpson has graciously accepted the responsibility of the Health, Safety, and Sanitation Committee, so all these relate to that, and I'll read them all, then we'll vote them at one time. Health, Safety, and Sanitation Committee Chair, Denny Simpson. Board of Building Appeals, Denny Simpson, for a term expiring 12/31/19. EMS Advisory Board, Denny Simpson. Joint Ambulance District, Denny Simpson, and Pro QA Steering Committee, Denny Simpson.
Move to confirm council's appointments.
Second.
Thank you.
Any discussion on the council appointment?
Mr. President,
Mr. Simpson?
I will have to abstain from this one since I'm on it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Any other comments? Will the clerk please call the roll on the council committee appointments?
Lamb.
Yes.
Parnell Kaby.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Abstain?
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 5 yeas, 1 abstention.
Unfinished business, we have none. Introduction to visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there is a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the front right microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered into the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or by a vote of the majority of council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council at this time? Okay, introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. We have ordinance 9318, an ordinance rezoning 120 North Court Street and 125 East Liberty Street from C2 to PF and 360 Foundry Street from R3 to OC.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Mendel.
Thank you, Mr. President. These are city-initiated rezoning of city properties. These were taken to the Planning Commission on March 8th of this year to, as you said, rezone a couple pieces of property that the city owns. The North Court and East Liberty Streets are actually the two parcels underlying the downtown public restrooms, parking, and Bicentennial Commons right in downtown. And 360 Foundry is a residential property that the city acquired a number of years ago through tax foreclosure, and we'll be adding it to Ray Mellard Park, which it is adjacent to. At the March 8th Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission reviewed and recommended approval of the rezonings to the City Council. This did go to a public hearing on May 29th of this year and is here tonight for an ordinance. I would just recommend that the Planning Commission recommendation for approval continues forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the approval of the ordinance?
Parnell Kaby.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Ordinance 93-18 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 9418, ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a revocable use permit with Birch Family Limited Partnership Number 4 to use or occupy a portion of North Broadway public right-of-way at 100 Public Square with a business identification sign.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Mendel?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. As the description of the ordinance is pretty explicit in terms of the request being proposed, but it is for a new office tenant at 100 Public Square, which is a space that faces to the public street of Broadway Street. The applicant did provide a lengthy packet outlining their proposal, which the Finance Committee reviewed at the two previous Finance Committee meetings before today's meeting. And it has gone through those processes, and now it is before the council for review. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the approval of the ordinance?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Parnell Kaby.
Yes.
Ordinance 94-18 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 9518, ordinance amending ordinance number 518, passed January 8th, 2018, relative to the bids and awarding a contract for the Champion Creek Multipurpose Path and Streetscape Project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
My second excuse me. My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and the ordinance. Mr. Patton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Several weeks ago, we bid this open bid for this project, and the low bid we received was a little over $13,000 more than the amount authorized by council in the previous ordinance. We are recommending we go ahead and award this contract. We believe the price is fair, and we note that this project is being paid 80% by a grant, and the grant will cover the additional $13,000. Asking for the emergency clause because of that grant. State of Ohio wants to fund this in their 2018 fiscal year, which ends June 30th. So we have to show them that this contract has been awarded here actually this week.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment on emergency clause and or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Parnell Kaby.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Parnell Kaby.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 95-18 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 9618, ordinance authorizing the payment of your construction for the private home rehabilitation at 27 Circle Drive, Medina, Ohio, as part of the fiscal year 2016 CHIP grant program.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and the ordinance. Mr. Mendel.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is to allow for the execution of a CHIP private home rehabilitation project at 27 Circle Drive here in the city of Medina. The emergency clause is being requested because with these CHIP programs, we have very few contractors that are willing to bid on the project, so we'd like to have the payment come as quickly as possible to them so that they are available and have the funds to be able to bid on additional CHIP applications that are going through the process. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment on the emergency clause and or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Lamb.
Yes.
Parnell Kaby.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Parnell Kaby.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 96-18 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 9718, ordinance authorizing the mayor to sign a plat of survey creating new Medina City lots.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Patton.
Thank you. In preparation for our upcoming project to build a parking structure here at City Hall, what we're doing here is creating 4 new city lots. The city has acquired several, I think about a dozen different lots over the years. This City Hall lot, the Masonic Temple lot, where the parking lot is. Many of those are regular shaped. What this will do will result in 4 new lots, 1 for City Hall, 1 for the new parking deck. 1 will be a vacant area for the time being where the Masonic Temple used to be, and 1 will be a potential retail area abutting West Liberty Street. We're asking for council's authorization to allow the mayor to sign this plat so we can create these lots.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Parnell Kaby.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Ordinance 97-18 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 9818 and ordinance amending ordinance number 17717 passed December 11th, 2017, amendments to the 2018 budget.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. Several of these are donations, which we are appreciative of, but they need to be appropriated by council in order to be spent, and then there's changes between account numbers.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Parnell Kaby.
Yes.
Ordinance 98-18 passes 6-0.
Council comments? What? Anybody? Mr. Lamb?
No, this is an exceptionally concise, short, brief, not very long, but important meeting. We passed, did a lot of yeses and passed a lot of important things, and I think it'd be a great time. I had 4 things, but I'm willing to skip everything just so we can keep it brief and moving along.
Sounds good.
I think we set a partial record.
We did. It was less than 20 minutes, 18 minutes.
And thank you, Mr. Lamb. It's Joel's 41st wedding anniversary. I'm out of here.
Congratulations.
Oh, and our next council. Well, I just have one. This is a short one. This is short.
I got my list, man.
It's really short. The next council meeting, which is June 25th, we're going to have our interviews of the candidates for Ward 3 after our council meeting. So if anybody would like to come and watch them and listen to the questions we ask, that'll be great. Again, that is our next council meeting. We'll be interviewing for the Ward 3 vacant council seat.
And budget meeting.
We do have a budget meeting coming up on this Wednesday, and then next Tuesday. There's 2 budget meetings, and those are always fun. We wish we had more attendance at
not
those,
really
but
fun.
they are fun.
No, not
So
really.
everybody please go, and that's it. Meeting adjourned.